everyone. I'm Teacher Thea. I'm going to teach you about evolution of media and traditional media and new media in 21st century. At the end of these lessons, the learners will be able to distinguish the different aspects of use of technology in different ages, the concept of traditional media compared to new media. This time, let us pray. Our prayer for today is Miss Lakala. Once again, good morning, student. How many are absent today?
I'm glad to say that there is no absent in our class.
Great. Very good. There's no absent. For today's lesson, I will teach about the evolutions of traditional and new media. But before anything, let's proceed to objective for this session. Everyone is now ready for our topic today. And before we start, this learning competencies is not to be attained but you to attain. Identify traditional media. Number 2, identify its role in the society. And the last, uses of those in past and present era. Okay, let's start. For today, I want to give you an icebreaker and have this term on the right side and also have definition on this term in the left side. Now I want you to match the right term in my side to corresponding definitions in my left side. Is that clear? Great. In my right side, should I pair with letter A or B or maybe letter C? The correct answer is letter C. That's great. The media is very important in our lives, not only in the future but in the past. The only difference is the thing used today have become more innovative than before. So people are able to do more work activities and other things, as it is known that housework helps technology to facilitate and speed up such now that I will discuss the important points in that age that I will discuss when I can be seen and compare the state of traditional to new media. Now that you know that each important keywords in the evolution of media, let's extend and increase your knowledge. Let's start. The pre-industrial societies refer to social attributes and forms of political, cultural organizations that were relevant before the advent of industrial revolution, which occurred from 1750 to 1850. Pre-industrial is bits before, helps tools to perform tasks in pre-industrial civilization dates centuries ago, but the main era is known as pre-industrial society, covered right before an industrial society. Pre-industrial societies vary from region to region, depending on the cultures and given area. Of history of social and political life, Europe is known for feudal system and medieval era. The cave paintings. It consists of 35,000 BC. There are also paintings in the cave that means around 20,000 years ago, in which means inhabitants painting at least 13 years thousand ago. The second one is the clay tablets in Mesopotamia. These three small inscribed tablets started debate in challenging the conventional wisdoms of European prehistory because they have dated from 6,500 years ago. Some earliest Sumeria and Egypt, and the last is papyrus in Egypt. Hi! The last part is papyrus in Egypt. Papyrus is a plant, Cyperus papyrus, which one grow up in abundance, primarily in the walls of Egyptian Delta but also everywhere in the Nile River Valley. But is how papyrus buds open from horizontal and growing in shallow fresh water and deeply saturated delta mud, stalk reached by 6 feet tall, 5 meter, in an ending in a small flowers which often bore plant and fruit. Natural vegetation of the region, but once people was found utilitarian purpose for them. They were cultivated with their supply deflected, Papyrus still exists in Egypt today, but in greatly reduced numbers. So, we have the past the first age era. So what's the next? That's great, very good. The next one is industrial age. But before we proceed, I have arranged the 5 letters. I will give you a 2-minute to. That's great, very good. The first letter is industrializations. The second letter is innovations. The third is economy. That's great. The jumbled letter you have formed is one of the important keywords in the industrial age. And let's read out the plus. The media is very important in our lives, not only in the future but in the past. The only difference is the thing used today have become more innovative than before. So people are able to do more work activities and other things, as it is known that housework helps technology to facilitate and speed up such now. That I will discuss the important points in that age that I will discuss when I can be seen and compare the state of traditional to new media. Metal movable large in quantities. The printing press spread in with several decades over 200 cities in dozen European countries. By 1,500 printing presses in operation throughout the Western Europe. Already produced more than 20 million volumes in the 16th century, they passed spreading in the fields of output of rose tenfold to estimates 150 to 200 million copies. The operation of press becomes synonymous with the enterprise of printing, and that was the name of new branch of the media, the name with the press. And the third is the newspaper. The London Gazette from 1640. The London Gazette was first published as the Oxford Gazette of November 7, 1665. Charles II and the royal court has moved on to Oxford except the great plaque of London, and court is unwilling to touch, then alone to read. The London newspaper, fear of contagiations, the Gazette was published by authority by Henry Mudman, and the first publication is noted by Samuel Pepys in his diary. The king returned to London of the plaque. The king returned to the London as plaque dissipated, and the Gazette moved too, with the first issue of the One London with the first issue, labeled number 4, being published on February 5, 1666. Okay, the fourth one is typewriter from 18th. The typewriter is a mechanical electromechanical machine for writing characters similar to those produced printers type. The fifth one is telephone, 1876. Before the development of electric telephones, the term telephone was applied to other inventions, and not early researchers from an electrical device are called telephone, and communication device for sailing vessels. The telephone was invention of Captain John Taylor in 1844. Now, you know the 3 important key points and other devices, so shall we proceed to the third era of media, which is the electronic age. Very good. We saw the last time how the first generation of digital computers were built around the first generation of automatical electrical switch, the electromagnetic relay, but times those computers were built another digital which was already waiting in the wings. The first one is transistor radio. The transistor radios are still common use are car radios. Billions of transistors used or estimated had been worldwide and between the 1950s and 2012s. The second one is mainframe and mainframe computer. A mainframe computer, informally called a mainframe by Big Iron, it is a big computer. It's primarily large organizations for critical application, bulk data, processing such as census industry and consumer statistics, enterprise resources, planning, large-scale transactions, and processing. So it's that clear, class? I need a verbal confirmation. Is that clear? That's great. Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Lakala, for your response. The last is the information age, also called the computer age. The digital age and the new media age is controlled tightly with advent of personal information and computers of historian Trace with begins of the work of America. Mathematician Claude D. Shannon. After we discussed these four eras, I will watch a short clip that summarizes everything we discussed. Are we clear, class? Yes, very good. Thank you for your responses.
Communication, as well as the use of it in our day to day life. Understanding communication is extremely important and is not only limited to print, television, radio, photography, and etc. In this lesson, you'll see how media technologically advanced throughout the years. This is the evolution of media. So, the evolution of media includes the pre-industrial age, electronic age, and the new information age in which we are currently in. The pre-industrial age, before 1700. In this age, people discovered fire, developed paper from plants, and forged weapons and tools with stone, bronze, copper, and iron. In the time of prehistoric men, the way of communication between the people was through cave paintings by using paint and brushes to draw images. Another form of media that were made in the pre-industrial age were the clay tablets in Mesopotamia in 2400 BC. More than 5,000 years ago, people living in Mesopotamia developed a form of writing to record and communicate different types of information. The early form of writing was based on pictograms, which helped to communicate basic information about crops and taxes. Acta Diurna, daily events, or the daily public record in 130 BC, were carved on stone or metal and presented in message boards in public places like the Roman Forum. They were also called simply Acta or Diurna. In the 2nd century, the Chinese Daibao was the earliest and oldest newspaper in the world. During West Han time, Han government carried out the Junxianxi, the eparch and county system, which is helpful in concentrating the central power. The country was divided into many eparchies and counties, but governed by the central government as a whole. Every eparch sets up its office in the capital Chang'an, which has the same function as the provincial office today in Beijing. There was the Codex in the Mayan region, which was developed from the 5th century. Maya codices are folding books stemming from the pre-Columbian Maya civilization, written in Maya hieroglyphic script on Mesoamerican paper, made from the inner bark of certain trees, the main being the wild fig tree. Named by the Maya's Hun and contained many glyphs and paintings.
A concise to the evolution of communication, media past, present, and future. This book is unique in that it treats both media and radios, televisions, and print and interpersonal media, telephone, computer, communication, and new technologies. The first part of evolution of media describes the history of development, the media of technology, and the third parts of the book develop a taxonomy of media and compare technological requirements, applications, and other significance elements. The fourth part presents a simple methodology to help predict the success of new media and products and services using sample. The evolution of media is useful to supplement the foundation of courses in mass communications and communication history, as well as primer to anyone interested in understanding the big pictures of communication media. If there is no question, see you in the next lesson. Goodbye and thank you.